We're looking at the north side of the original palace of Diocletian. You have to imagine that a man in retirement built this. He had a heck of a lot of clout and money. Now being restored, so this should be quite beautiful soon. This is either a business or something. Maybe it's a monastery or something. In any event, we're once again just outside the palace wall, although this was interesting. And over the centuries, I mean, you figure from 4th century, 3rd century on, there could have been a lot of construction going on all around us and in it. It was a late wealthy family is unknown, but we can look for some of these features in it. The restaurant now, of course, they would have been pleased to know that all sorts of riffraff, including me, could gain access to their wealthy home. So much for the exclusivity of money. This is just the faux capital on the faux column, if you will, forming the door frame and the exterior. It's one of these two buildings, the one that the camera is facing, or the one we were looking at a moment ago. So this looks like it might have been built into the wall or immediately adjacent to the outside of it. But this looks like a portal that goes into the interior of the wall of the palace. Into the palace. Looking back at this filler wall, we can see that it was a bridge. There's a hallway up there between what were once two buildings there. Here an older building, looks like it's tipping slightly to the left, squeezed in and somewhat restored on the edges when the two buildings on either side were built recently or restored. And here we're looking at the inside of the north wall. We'll get up and take a look at that detail a little bit more. And what the stone with the hole in was for, I'm guessing, was for standards of some sort. In other words, flags. And I think the bottom smaller post or stone just held the bottom of the post or of the flags. And this well may be one of those buildings also that was built against the wall in order to buttress the wall. And probably at one time there was some kind of archway that came out from the original wall for some reason. This, of course, just literally supporting, buttressing both of these buildings with modern wood infrastructure. The vaulted areas I'm looking at here, these are a common device for going underneath buildings. Another chunk of the wall. Interesting, in this old building, the shopkeeper's window. This might have been a partially restored old palace. In other words, the home of a wealthy. This is the eastern portal, or entryway, that I looked at earlier. And I'm guessing it has the same design as the last two that we've seen, the west and the north one. But we'll explore this square here and this large church that we could see from quite a distance. That's very elaborate compared to what we historically see. But then it came from Rome, not a more modern construct. Stones seem so authentic. To imagine the numbers of people, the different kinds of people, the races, the languages that have trod these stones before me. This wall, whatever it was for, it's obviously a new construct, although elements may be original. Those first 4 columns perhaps original. All of that being restored, whatever it was. I'm surprised at this degree of elegance would be Venetian. For 3 centuries, they were the most powerful economic and military force in the Mediterranean. They're through this temporary wood structure buttressing these 2 buildings. Here the Bapistery of St. John, the Temple of Jupiter. A little hint of his earlier majesty on that capital. And then the rich detail there. A sarcophagus. Someone who can read that can tell the date. Here the font where the water would be. Usually there's some stairs. Don't know why these 2 ports over here on the side existed. I don't know if there was originally a doorway. It doesn't look like it. Maybe they just filled it up with water. A couple of more sarcophaguses. Interesting detailed roof. Individual arch stones creating that vault. Did these depict people in various states of anguish for various reasons, like they're going to hell, and this is what some horrible thing awaits them, and we're seeing their reaction? Playboy bunny. Perhaps John the Baptist. Each of those symbols would have some meaning to those who are knowledgeable. Here's the 5-star cross instead of the Jewish 6-star cross. I think the Jewish star is 6 crosses. Probably a holy water container. This is an interesting architectural element, this colonnade of big columns, so that sarcophagus is in between them. Are the sarcophagi always there? Are those original columns? My guess is that this is a lapidarium of what went up on top of those columns originally. Or maybe even further up on top of that dome device. Detail pretty indistinct now. And what's interesting is this one column over here, different than the rest, fluted from the top to the bottom. The upper two-thirds a rather simple fluting, and then the lower part a more complex fluting. What's interesting is this detail. Why it's there, I don't know. It looks like a drawing, perhaps part of this structure. And this is all that remains of that inner arch and the side arch that we saw earlier.